You're watching The Weekly Late Show on BBNBC. Tonight, we are joined by
Amy Phony Barrett, the Supreme Court nominee.
Your host, Bertie Betts. And music from the exclusive Bertie Betts soundtrack. We got a great show for you guys tonight. Stay tuned for The Weekly Late Show with Bertie Betts.
You're watching The Weekly Late Show on BBNBC. I'm your host, Bertie Betts. BBNBC, of course, stands for the Bertie Betts National Broadcasting Company, the second fakest news network. Let's start out today's show with the big news. The iPhone 12 came out, and it does look really familiar to the iPhone 11. Mostly because it's pretty much the same design as the iPhone 11. They're pretty much just changing the name at this point. So, if you were trying to buy the iPhone 12 just to flex on your friends, like I know 98% of y'all trying to buy this phone are, just use the old one, because they literally look the same. The new thing about the iPhone is that it has 5G, and Apple, of course, is late to the party with everything, is also late to the party with 5G. I would go as far to say that Apple is late to the party with something called good phones. In fact, they are yet to catch up with that party. You know stuff's not going as planned for Apple when they are bringing back designs from the iPhone 5. That's like if we brought back George Bush and now told him to become president. Apple is so out of the ideas, they are bringing back stuff from when the actual genius Steve Apple was around. Tim Apple must be worried, begging for his cousin Steve Apple to come join him. CNN reports that a former QAnon believer has a, quote, warning for current QAnon believers. For everyone who has never been to a Trump rally, QAnon is a conspiracy that's based off of Trump being pretty much a god. And I don't really need to read this article to know what this warning is. The warning is, don't believe in QAnon, you retarded schmuckhead. But with a smile, CNN style. Trump got wrecked during that town hall against that ABC reporter. Or as Fox News put it, Trump proves that Obama was friends with Osama bin Laden after all. And Osama bin Laden, after plastic surgery, is Alex Azar, Trump's Health and Human Service Secretary. Speaking of Trump's town hall, there was a woman nodding behind Trump throughout the debate. I mean town hall. Was it funnier that she agreed with everything Trump had to say, or the fact that there was a Trump supporter wearing a mask? The Biden campaign corrected CNN, saying that they are not ahead with a double-digit score. Biden, you're correct. That's totally correct. The Biden campaign is not ahead with a double-digit score. That's because the Biden campaign is ahead with a triple-digit score for the first time since the beginning of the race. Pro-Trump artist wants New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio's job. Says, quote, monkey with no eyes could do a better job than Bill de Blasio. Right. That might be true, but a monkey with no eyes, legs, mouth, nose, or ears could probably do a better job than that artist, so calm down and go back to drawing MAGA hats. Trump said, quote, the coronavirus is totally fake and not worth worrying about. See, it's a leftist hoax. And then went on to say that the treatment that the veterinarian gave him worked perfectly and should be available to other animals in the United States for free of charge, despite not passing through crucial clinical testing. Trump suggested that he might leave the country if Biden becomes president. That's fun. I have a couple questions. Who's gonna let this bobcat and his veterinarian into their country? Europe already isn't letting American citizens, let alone American animals and their veterinarian. Amy Phony Barrett, the fourth Irish, well, not really Irish, but she's from an Irish school whose emblem is the Fighting Irish. So for all practical purpose, she is the fourth Irish to be nominated to the Supreme Court. So this got me thinking, what would a St. Patrick's Day dinner look like between the four justices? Well, I bet this is what Amy Phony Barrett would say.
Ooh, guess who's coming over tonight? It's gonna be Gersuck, Roberts, and Kavanaugh coming over tonight. And I'm going to make a nice little shepherd's pie. Kavanaugh is going to bring the Guinness, and Gersuck, the stew, because we Irish cannot live without stew. Robert is going to cook the salmon straight from the river out back. Nothing like a little diversity on the Supreme Court. 4 fighting Irish in a row. At this point, we have a 4-leaf clover.
That's, of course, if Amy Phony Barrett was elected to the Supreme Court. Of course, you know the show. When we make fun of someone, we always invite them to have a little chat, just to justify our making fun of them. Of course, Amy Phony Barrett was nice enough to take 5 minutes off her hearings to come onto our show. So I met with Phony through the Cisco WebEx. And here is the footage. Enjoy. Well, Amy Phony Barrett, it's great to have you here on the program, and congratulations on your nomination. I may disagree with you on just about everything you say, but getting that far to me is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Of course. So, what are your thoughts on gun legislation?
Because this issue is currently being debated and discussed by society, I have no comment.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on abortion, Roe versus Wade?
Because this topic is currently being debated by society, I have no comment.
Okay, so do you think this country has systemic racism?
Well, since this topic is currently being debated by the human race, I have no comment.
I'm sorry, but you are one of the worst people to have an interview with. Alright, this is something neither of us can disagree on. How did you meet Trump? In other words, how did he find someone like you?
Well, I was waiting at a bar in Coney Island, and Trump ran in all sweaty. He asked me if I worked for the bar. I wasn't sure if he meant the law bar, because I have near zero experience in the law bar. I only have experience in waiting tables at a bar. But I guess that was good enough for Trump, because he asked me if I wanted to be part of the Supreme Court, and of course accepted his plea and said, yes.
That sounds pretty incredible.
It was.
Something I think a lot of people respect is the fact that you're a judge and you also have 7 kids. How do you balance being maybe a Supreme Court justice now and having 7 kids at home?
It gets tough at some points, but in general, I try to keep order in the court at home and at work.
Right, so where do you fall on the spectrum of conservative to liberal?
I don't fall on that spectrum, so no comment.
Okay. You come from a group of Christians with some negative press.
No comment.
Oh, okay, alright. Do you think this country has got major problems in the way that the justice system works?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
In what way?
None. I was just kidding.
Alright, Amy Phony with a phony sense of humor. Alright, I have a big question for you.
No comment.
Okay, it was about global warming.
I haven't made my decision yet.
Alright, I'd appreciate if you'd... Amy? Amy? I think she left the call. Alright, well, she must have left. That's Amy Phony Barrett for the Weekly Show on BBNBC. I'm Bertie Betts. Good night, everybody.